Elaine Terso, and I have with me a very special friend, Miss Monica Batchelor. Monica, would you like to tell everyone who you are and what do you do?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So my name is Monica and I am a high school teacher. I've been in the public education for 20 years, but I found a wellness device that I love. It's 8 minutes, it's easy. And so I share the Bemer Wellness.
Fantastic. So, what question do you have for me today?
Thank you. Let's see. So, since I found this wellness and I want to share it, I've just been in my excitement and like lack of understanding what I got myself into. I've just been going and doing what I think and what I am watching other people do. But I want to get serious now. And so, this upcoming school year, it starts in 2 weeks. My summer play will be over as far as open hours. And now I'm going to have that 40-hour job, and I want to use my time very intentionally, and I want to use it well, so that I want to give 15 to 20 hours. I'm not sure, but I know I want to pick 15 hours or 20 hours and then work within that. So I need help figuring out, like, how should I use my time? How do I do that?
Okay, so what I kind of hear you asking is how do I do this side gig when I have a full-time gig?
Yes. Now I've been doing
Okay.
it myself for 2 years, just kind of, and the only thing I encountered with my husband was just Sundays. I need Sundays where you don't do anything. I'm like, okay, thank you for that. And then from there, I just kind of gauge my family, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I'm not going to go there. But
Mm-hmm.
it's all last minute. There's no plan. So I want to be intentional so that there's some
Yeah.
boundaries, even with my side.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
So
want to use it well.
yeah. So one of the things that when I was still kind of in the beginning photography phase, before I went full time, I was also working a 9 to 5. And so I'm not going to lie to you though, it was rough trying to run a business and work full time was hard. And I found myself staying up really late at night editing photos and stuff like that because I didn't have boundaries. I did not yet understand how boundaries worked. And
Yeah.
I did not give myself boundaries. I didn't give my clients boundaries. And I basically was trying to be everything to everyone. And I was exhausted. I was
Mm-hmm.
exhausted. So I did that for a good, 3 years before, right? I was exhausted. And so, what I would say, being in that position, if I could go back and do some things differently, this is what I would say was um, creating a calendar for yourself where you can give yourself time and say from, I did this thing once called time blocking, and I printed out a blank Google Calendar, and I would go in and fill it out, and these are my non-negotiables, right? So your 7 to 3 job is your non-negotiable, right? Right, it's a non-negotiable. And then I would go in and what I call client activities. And client activities included, for me, it was photo shoots, it was consultations, it was editing, it was designing, it was anything that had to do with a client. And so I had decided that I wanted to do client activities 3 days a week. And so I would then say, like, okay, so my photo shoots, for example, I would from 9 to 2, I could do a, start to finish boudoir photo shoot, for example, would be from 9 to 2. And then from 2 to 4, I had a window where I could have flex time. I could use that for connects, one-to-ones. I could go and I could use that time however I needed. But I knew at 4 o'clock, that was my stop time because I had a non-negotiable where I had to go and pick up my kid and take him to his workout, right? So
Mm-hmm.
giving myself that time, like going, what do I have time to do? And so from like 3:30 to 5, because I imagine you'd like to spend dinner time with your family, right? So you could go in there and say, what can I realistically do during that
Right.
window of time that is going to get me closer to my goals. And so for you, it's deciding and knowing what are those activities, what are those
Right.
income producing activities, meeting people, networking, doing, marketing activities, all of those things are going to get you closer to your goal. I had also given myself, like, every Friday, I wanted to continue education. So I would give myself an hour of education. Every Monday was my admin day where I did not have any clients, intentionally, so that I could focus on doing those things that were important to growing my business. So bookkeeping, marketing, putting together my blog, scheduling my posts for the week, like all of that stuff. So it was like I had those set days that made it easier for me to, like, have to run a business and have a family, right? But while I was, having a job, I did not do those things because I did not yet understand the power of the calendar and how important it is to be able to. And I missed time with my kids. I missed soccer games. I missed cheerleading competitions. I missed things because I didn't know how to say no. I
And
didn't.
I, yeah, and I'm finding that, like, my 10-year-old, mom, put down your phone. I'm like, I just have to write this message. It's important. But yes, so I'm like, I'm listening.
Yeah. So that would be like, if you could, put in your non-negotiables first, your non-negotiables. And so for me, my non-negotiables would be my job and would be family time. I also had declared Sundays were family day, and I was also not going to work on Sundays. And now I also do that on Saturdays now too, because I
Yeah.
have now the flexibility without doing photography anymore. I now don't no longer have to work on the weekends, which is like amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, for you, there are going to be probably Saturday events that you're going to want to attend and be able to get out there and network and showcase and, do vendor events and things like that. So it's really just about prioritizing what's the most important thing to you and what are the intentional activities that you could do during that time that's going to get you closer to your goal.
Okay, this is very helpful. Thank
Oh,
you.
good.
Because I'm about ready to, like, I need to look seriously. I mean,
Ah,
2 weeks, and then I'm going to be, yeah,
right.
I want to be very intentional because I found out that
Right.
it helps get goals accomplished.
It does. It does. Yeah. So if you were to give yourself 2 hours a day, what would you do in that time? Like, what do you think your client activities would be?
Um, Phone calls would have to make the list. Marketing, getting those printed. So I like to go to Staples, so that's
Mhm.
a drive. But that would be included. And then also, if I feel like we're kind of getting to that place where I could have a mask on and go say hi and share a flyer. So even just, driving and introducing myself, because that was something that I was doing. Now, I don't know how well that was producing results, but it was action, and I just know I have to be in action. So I don't know if that's if that's something I need to do, but it made me feel like I
Mhm.
was doing things. So
Mhm.
that, and then also having team meetings, because I have a vision to create a team. So that would be.
Mhm. So do you think, so it's almost like you have, almost like you're creating one activity per day that you could do as an action item. So that, not trying to fit it all into one, but saying, like, on Wednesdays, for example, I'm going to go visit a new provider and talk about the Bemer. And on Tuesdays, I'm going to go to Staples and get
Yeah,
whatever, like that sort of thing. um, because when we try to do everything all at once,
the
that's
brain.
where the overwhelm comes in and stuff like that. So, like, you could essentially set yourself a schedule. This is networking day. This is, visiting day. This is phone call day. This is, whatever. And it would just give you that. But also don't forget to give yourself like it's okay to take a day off during the week and just have time to breathe. So
Yeah.
I would choose a day, whatever day feels good for you, that you're not going to spend it on your business, that you are going to rest your brain, rest your body, and just so
That's
in addition to Sunday, like one other day during the week, I would say is
really
give yourself a like, you know,
okay. I will. If
yeah,
you, yeah, absolutely. So
yeah.
maybe that'll be a Monday.
Because re-energizing, getting remotivated, like that's going to serve you in the long run,
Yeah.
and you need to fill your cup in order to really like have that longevity, because you can go, 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 go. And then if you don't give yourself a break, you're not going to last very long. But if you go, 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 break, go, 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 break, you're going to last a lot longer, going to have longer longevity is what I would say.
Okay, so Sundays are definitely I have to like, hands
Yeah.
off. But
Hands
even
off.
so Monday, even since maybe because Mondays are Mondays. So Tuesday through Saturday and then figuring out each activity for the day. So that's what you're
And just
suggesting.
know that you can be flexible with what you're going to do on different, because what if you have a networking event on a day that you've decided to be an off day? You can swap, you know what I
Gotcha.
mean? So it's okay to be flexible. It's not set in stone, and you can change as you see fit. And say, let's say for example that you have a if your kids are having a school concert on a Thursday and you're like, oh, but you can swap, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So being able
So
to
that's
have that,
helpful to hear.
yeah, have that flex day is
Yeah.
me day, or I need to make a swap.
Okay.
Mhm.
Ooh, I'm excited. I've got my
Because
notes.
that way you don't feel guilty if you're like, oh crap, I'm what I'm supposed to do, right? Because then there's that feeling of I'm neglecting my business, but really you're just making a swap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
flex days are my favorite.
Good. I wrote that down. It's okay to be flexible.
Be flexible. Be
Yeah.
flexible. And it's time swapping, right? Time
Yeah.
trading and stuff like that.
Okay. And then, yeah. Well, this is helpful. This gives me a start to when I go to that, planning.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I would just print out a blank Google Calendar and fill it out for September and just kind of get an idea of like what does it look like? And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be in pen. It doesn't have to be in marker. It's not in Sharpie. Like it can be changed. So just like feel that it's okay to make adjustments as you go along. You will figure out if something doesn't feel like it's working, then make an adjustment,
Okay.
because if you're like, hey, I want to have Bemer sessions, but gosh, nobody's available on a Wednesday. Maybe I need to switch that to a Friday,
Mm,
and so giving yourself that flexibility to go at it, do some testing, and then make adjustments and reevaluate and say, how is this working? What
mm,
do I need to adjust? And just be open to being flexible.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I've I've got my notes that'll get me started now.
Good, 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 good. Good, good,
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So is there anything else that I can help you with?
Let me think. Let's see. What's that other, there's the income producing activities. What's that
Mhm.
other thing that's done? Is it just non-income producing? That's just the education part.
Right. So there are income producing activities and then things like education and administrative and stuff like that, where it's things that have to get done in your business, but they're not necessarily what you would call like billable hours, right? When you're
Right.
with a client, then you can look at it as a billable hour.
Okay.
Even though you may not be getting paid hourly, it's still like you're doing something that is bringing in an income. And so administrative tasks, not that. Education, definitely not. So, but there's still things that need to be done in your business in order to move forward. So income producing activities, administrative tasks, education, kind of, you know, the low hanging fruit. It's things
Yeah.
that have to get done, but, you know, can you delegate that to someone else? Sometimes, sometimes not. It just depends on what that activity is, right? Because you can't really delegate education because you're the one trying to learn it. Can you
Right.
delegate administrative tasks like bookkeeping? Yes. And I did that. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's so much better to have someone else doing my bookkeeping than me doing it.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. And then, so looking at, I have that 15 to 20 hours that I have, like, what would be your suggestion for the percentage of time for the income versus the other? Like, as I look at my time and divide it up, do you know that?
So I would look like if you could, while you have this couple of weeks still,
Yeah.
track your time and how much time is it taking you to make 5 phone calls? How much time is it taking you to do administrative tasks? How much time is it taking you to do marketing? And start tracking that. You could use an app called A Time Logger, which could be really interesting to help you. It'll give you a report of how much time you're spending on each activity. But it can help you just kind of, and then you could go, okay, so let's be realistic here. If I'm giving myself a goal of doing 5 phone calls, but those 5 phone calls turn into 2 hours, I might need to make an adjustment. You know what I'm
Rewrite
saying?
the phone script.
Right, right. You know, and so again, being flexible,
Okay.
just being flexible.
So, so you're suggesting as I'm doing all these activities, track my time.
Track how long is it actually taking you, and then when you create your schedule, you'll be able to say, okay, can I realistically complete this in 2 hours on
Yes.
on a Wednesday?
Okay, that's a good one. I didn't even think about tracking the time on how much time the activities
Yeah,
take. So
yeah,
that's good.
yeah.
Okay.
I think we have this like idea that we think something is going to take, oh, it's only going to take me 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, well, that 10 minutes turned into an hour.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I just, having been on this journey, it's so fun, but I so badly want to use my precious time well this next, school year that I have with my
Mhm.
schedule. So this will help with that.
Good,
Any
good.
other suggestions for that? Like, if that's my intention, like to be intentional with my time and to use it well, like any other suggestions, or I'm good to go to
I
start?
think you're good to go to get started. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. Well, thank you so much for being on the Elaine the Brain show. So happy that we could do this.
I'm thankful. I'm very thankful. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, everybody have a super fantastic day. Have a great weekend. And I will not be on live next week because I'll be be traveling home from taking my son to college next week. So you guys will have to miss me next week. But the following week, we have another guest lined up. So yay. All right, everyone. See you guys later.